Hello, fifth grade, and welcome to your grammar lesson for today. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, and we are on lesson 52 in your grammar book. So if you could, get out that blue book of yours and turn to page 232 in your blue book. Make sure you get out a highlighter and a pencil to write with. All right. So again, please turn to page 232 in your grammar book. So I am going to flip over to here, parts of a letter. We are going to be writing a letter for the next 2 weeks. The letter that you will be writing is to the embassy of your country. Now that we are going to get in a little bit later. Right now, let's focus in on writing a letter and parts of a letter, okay? And learning about parts of a letter. You've learned this before. We're reviewing it. We're touching upon it. And hopefully it, light bulbs go off in your head and you're like, bing, light bulb, I knew this. Okay, so in the Learn on page 232, the very first letter we're going to learn about is a friendly letter. This is an informal letter to someone you know very, very well, or you know well. In a friendly letter, the greeting and the closing begin with a capital letter and end with a comma. In the heading, a comma separates the city and state and also the day and the year. Now, let's talk about this. What is a heading? So here's my little board right here, and pretend like this is my letter, okay? So if this is my heading, or I'm sorry, if this is my letter, right up here would be where your heading would go. Does everybody see this? And in the heading goes your address, your actual address. You do not put your name in the heading. Okay, so mine is 47555, and then down here you would put Sterling, because I live in Sterling, comma, capital V and a capital A, but no period, okay, because it is a state, and when we abbreviate states, we do not put a period at the end. All right. Now, after your heading, you always put the date. Okay, so for example, today's date is May. Today's date, May 12th. And if I'm incorrect, please forgive me, 12th, comma, 2020. Okay, there we go, boys and girls. That right there is all of your heading. Now, the next part of your friendly letter is your greeting part. The greeting part is dear. Dear Mom. Dear John Wright. But you wouldn't have to put his last name. Dear Ava, comma. Make sure that the dear part starts all the way on the left-hand side, okay, and that it ends with a comma. Now, the body of your letter is right there after the dear. The very first word in the body of your letter has to be indented and capitalized. Don't forget that. Dear Ava, how? A good reference is go right underneath that R and then H. How are you? Proper punctuation is a question mark because it's a question. How are you? Okay, question. But she indented. Okay, and then if you were to start on the next row, you would start, I miss my class. Okay, perfect. Now, after the body of your letter, you do have a closing. The closing is something like yours truly, best best wishes, or sincerely, things like that. This one always trips me up. It might not with you, but take yours truly for example. Okay, the yours is capitalized. This one is always capitalized, the yours. But the second word is not capitalized. It is lowercase. So truly is not capitalized. It is lowercase, okay? It always trips me up. I always want to capitalize both the Y and the T. Warmest wishes, I always want to capitalize both. So it's something that I always have to catch myself, but make sure that you only capitalize the very first one, okay? And then put a comma after that, and then write your name, Teresa. And that is called the signature. All right. Please, let's move on to the next one, a business letter. A business letter is what you are going to be learning how to write when you write your letter to the embassy, okay? Let's touch upon the business letter and see what is the difference. There are small differences between a friendly letter and a business letter. The business letter, of course, is more formal. Business letter is a formal letter to someone you do not know well. It has an inside address. It gives the name and address of the organization or the person you are writing to. Place the title of the person after the person's name. Okay? Use a colon instead of a comma at the end of the greeting. And at the end of the formal closing. So let me go over a few of these things, and I'm gonna mark them in red, the things that need to be adjusted. All right. So first and foremost, you have your heading, and the heading is going to stay. So this will always stay. Your address will stay, and do not put your name up there, okay? What is going to go, or what's going to be added, is an inside address. Your inside address is going to go up here, and that is their address, okay? The inside address is their address, all right? It's right above your dear, okay? Now in the greeting part, you're going to take away that comma and you're going to add a colon. So it's going to be Dear Ava. But say Ava was the ambassador for Spain. You have to look up how you properly greet Ava from Spain. Would you write to her and say, Your Majesty, Your Honor, Your Honorable Ava? You have to look up how exactly they speak to the ambassador from your country. Okay, that's one thing that you will need to research. Now, right after the dear, you'll have the greeting. You'll have the body of the paragraph, the signature, the closing, and the signature, just the same way. When you watch my other YouTube video about how to write your letter to the embassy, it's going to go into very specific details on how to write your letter. Please pay close attention. This is very high level, just so it can get you through practice A and practice B, and to get you through the test, okay? So what I gave you here, the parts of the letter for friendly letter and formal letter, is very minimal. And what I'm going to give you on my next lesson for your letter to the embassy is going to be very detailed and specific. So very best of luck to you. Please do practice A and B and check it on my next slide, and then submit to me your Google form. Good luck, boys and girls, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.